Hola, and welcome back to another video of My Creative Life with Kelssweetie, where we read books and we make art. Today, we are talking about my May TBR, my May hopefuls. We're going to say hopefuls. This is a very long list. I do not expect to get to all of these books, but in all honesty, I couldn't choose. Some of this is really being hopeful because I cannot find it on Libby, or it's just not released yet. And I'm hoping to really kind of get a mix of different genres this month, but I don't know. I may also find some new recommendations this month that I've been looking for and add those to the mix and push some of these. Who knows? I was not expecting for this list to be this long, and then books kept coming in. So let's get into the intro, and on the other side, we'll start getting into this stack for my May. May is aanhpi month, which, if you don't know what that is, it's Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander month. They've added the NH in between to better encapsulate the idea of Native Hawaiian folks not necessarily being Pacific Islanders. I honestly, one thing that I've learned is that they've really, whoever the heritage people are, have put a lot on the back of May. I mean, I know I have Filipino friends who don't even really celebrate during May. They celebrate, the official Filipino Heritage Month is October. So, and I already know that I'm going to see so many people recommending Filipino books this month because they've put them in with Pacific Islanders. But I've heard many people who are Filipino say they don't celebrate during this month because technically they're not a part of that, any of those terms. I know that that's a big gray area for people. Some people do and they don't. I don't want to speak for anybody in the community who does celebrate during this month because they feel like it's the easiest thing to do, or that they feel like it's right, or they've been told to celebrate then. I just know what I've been told. It's a lot, right? Because then I also see a lot of East Asian book recommendations this time of year. Last year I was looking for a lot of Pacific Islander recommendations, especially in horror, and I really didn't hit much. And to be honest, I still haven't hit much. I am still looking wherever I can, and we'll see as we continue on looking. But I think that the Pacific Islander portion really gets left out a lot during this time of May. Southeast Asian folks and South Asian folks get forgotten during this time of year. It's a very vast demographic for them to go, okay, you get 30 days. And it's a little insane to expect that everybody's going to get it right when the term itself isn't all that right. So I wanted to start off saying that because that is the basis for what this month's TBR is set on, and even as I move throughout the month, why some of these books may change, because I may find some book recommendations that really do encapsulate a lot more within the communities that are a part of this Heritage Month. But every year so far, well, last year, I say every year, but I've really only been, feels like so much longer. But last year, I found so many amazing, I found one of my top reads, Chlorine. It was such a huge read for me. I read The Vegetarian, which has, at first, it was an alright read for me, and as it sat with me, it's grown more and more, that message. I still can't believe like what it was trying to get out and what it was trying to talk through. And as I've sat with it, I've realized more and more how much I really, really love that book. I maybe rated it a little bit too low. I found so many great books and great novels last May, and so I'm really looking forward going into this. You know, April's kind of my rest month. I'm not sure I celebrate Old School April every year, and I want to actually kind of look further to see if there's any really big voices within either one of those spaces. I know that I've read books that have autistic, like Model Home. Model Home features an autistic character. And I'm sure that there's other books that maybe don't like go, hey, this is an autistic character, but they are clearly that. So I do want to look more into that coming next year. But as of this year, April really kind of is my reset time, just so that I can get some other books that maybe aren't a part of my heritage months throughout the year out of the way, and also just kind of knock some things out. I will say this last month has been a little interesting. It's been a little slow. I don't want to say it's a slump, but I do feel like I find myself gravitating to listen to music or watching a show rather than picking up an audiobook like I usually am, just like moving. And I think that I read something that just really slowed me down on it. So I'm hoping going into May that that's not the case. And with the books that I have planned, I don't see that happening, but we will see. We will definitely see. Let's get into the books. Okay, that was a big intro. Starting off is Mouth, Stories by Paloma Ghosh. I got this last year. During I was a part of Astra House's influencer program, and they gave me this book. I'm really excited to read it. Seeing as that, like I just mentioned, I do want to try and fit in some more voices rather than just East Asian voices. I say that completely aware that the rest of the books on this list are East Asian voices, but I am very much excited to finally read this. I've heard really great things. I just hadn't been able to get to it because there wasn't, at the time that I received it, an audiobook for it. And as we all know, last year I was not fitting physical reads into my reading routine. Now there's an audiobook for it. So I definitely see it getting read now, but I'm hoping that it lives up to some of the hype that I've been hearing about it. Let's get into the synopsis if you didn't see when I hauled this last year, of course. In this debut collection of stories, Paloma Ghosh spins tales of creatures and gore to explore grief, sexuality, and bodily autonomy. Embracing the bizarre and absurd, Mouth stretches reality to reach for truth. Desiccation follows a teen figure skater with necrophiliac fantasies who is convinced the other Indian girl at the rink is a vampire. When a woman returns to Kolkata and the fig tree, she can't tell if she is haunted by her dead mother or a Shakuni or both. Nip bottles up the consuming and addictive nature of infatuation, while Natalia is a hair-raising autopsy of an ex-lover. In Persimmons, a girl comes to terms with her own community sacrifice. Mouth is a collection full of fangs and talons that lays bare the otherwise awkward and unmentionable with a singular sharpness. Through surreal and captivating prose, Paloma Ghosh delves into otherworldly spaces to reimagine ordinary struggles of isolation, longing, and the aching desires of our flesh. Absolutely amazing. I really am excited to read this, and I am last year I think I tried to read The Bandit Wives. I think that's what, it's not Bandit Wives, it's Bandit something. And it ended up being too slow for me, and I was upset because I was just like, this was supposed to be my Southeast Asian voices for this month, and this sounds a lot more up my alley and not slow at all and very weird and very exciting. So can't wait to get into this, and I think that my audiobook for Libby is coming up soon, so we will see. My next read is a bit of a classic. It's actually very much of a classic, and my audiobook for Libby is already up, so I think I'm probably going to be getting into this soon. We'll see. I don't want to maybe start reading this and it's too slow. I thrifted this, so I ended up I'm trying to take a sticker off. I don't want to sit here and promise myself I'm going to read it because it's slow. It's a classic and it is slow, and I'm taking into account that that's not normally where my reading taste is, and I want to give some space to that fact. And I know that I'm really like talking this up so I can get this sticker off before I show y'all, because it's on top of the synopsis, and now I'm going to reveal to you what it is. Okay, it's The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. Of course, this book is a classic. It's got a whole movie. I've not seen the movie, but it was at my local thrift store, and I thought, one, love the cover. That's usually a dead ringer for me, but also I felt like, oh, I should probably read this. Like, it is a classic, but we should still be reading some classics every now and then, be well-rounded, and to also see why this was such a huge deal when it came out. I think I want to say it released in the 90s, but there's a good possibility I'm wrong about that. Let's check. One moment. 1989. Real close. So, this was definitely where I thrift my books. I'm positive there's a school around or near, because a lot of the books I get, they have a lot of marks on them that show that they were probably assigned for an AP assignment, which I love that. Absolutely love having, this is why we thrift books. We thrift them personally. I thrift them for character, not necessarily for them to look brand new. So yeah, Ariana Gallardo, I don't know how far she got in it, other than saying what happened to each one of the people in there, because I'm seeing her cursive writing. She's saying that Suyeon Woo had died. So, hope that wasn't a twist. And she marked apparently each chapter. I hope she got an A in this class, because she marked where each chapter assignment was, and that's wonderful. Let's read the synopsis on this one for anybody who doesn't know this book. In the Joy Luck Club, vignettes wait, this is the review. Where do we not have a so this book is just so well known that we don't need any sort of synopsis? That's crazy. Wait a second. Hold on a minute. Okay, wait a second. Let me get my phone so I can read this, because there's no synopsis on this. That's crazy. There's just quotes on the back. Well, I'm sorry that I'm out the loop. One moment. Because apparently this book is so well known that it doesn't need a synopsis anywhere in it, which is insane to me. Maybe I'm that behind. I apologize. I had to grab my phone so I could find the synopsis for this one. Okay, well, here's the synopsis. 4 mothers, 4 daughters, 4 families, whose histories shift with the 4 winds, depending on who's telling the stories. In 1949, 4 Chinese women, recent immigrants to San Francisco, meet weekly to play mahjong and tell stories of what they left behind in China. United and lost in new hope for their daughters' futures, they call themselves the Joy Luck Club. Their daughters, who have never heard these stories, think their mother's advice is irrelevant to their modern American lives until their own inner crises reveal how much they've unknowingly inherited of their mother's past. With wit and sensitivity, Amy Tan examines the sometimes painful, often tender, and always deep connection between mothers and daughters. As each woman reveals her secrets, trying to unravel the truths about her life, the strings become more tangled, more entwined. Mothers boast or despair over daughters, and daughters roll their eyes, even as they feel the inextricable tightening of their matriarchal ties. Tan is an astute storyteller, enticing readers to immerse themselves into these lives of complexity and mystery. Honestly, it does sound a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. It sounds very American Quilt. If you've ever seen that movie with Winona Ryder, it sounds very Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood. If you've ever seen that movie with Sandra Bullock, it sounds very slice of life, women, generations. We all are somehow connected, even though we may not feel like we're connected to our mothers, type of thing. That could be, I mean, as a movie, I love that type of movie. As a book, I don't know. I don't read enough of it. So I may end up really, truly loving this book. Like I said, I do have the audiobook currently, so it may be the first book that I kind of read going into May, because I already have it available. Do I have anything else on here? Not yet. Not yet. But because I already have it available, I'll probably get into this first and see how it goes. I am excited, though. Still very weird that it does not have the synopsis on the back. Next is a book that everybody has been reading lately, and I have heard very good things about it, and that is Strange Pictures by Uketsu. I picked this up because I did have some points for Barnes & Noble since I am a premium member, and I'd heard a lot of great things. I knew that May was coming up, and I thought that I did not have enough choices. Obviously, I was wrong. It happens. I know that there was a lot of visual things happening in here because, well, Strange Pictures. So I don't know if I'm going to do a tandem immersive read with this, because I do want to be able to see what they're talking about as they're talking about it. I've been trying to do this thing where I walk around while I read, so this may be something that does that. I'm still waiting on the audiobook to release because everyone in the world is reading this book currently, but we will end up seeing what ends up happening. I do know that a lot of people have enjoyed this, though. So let's talk about it. A pregnant woman's sketches on a seemingly innocuous blog conceal a chilling warning. A child's picture of his home contains a dark secret message. A sketch made by a murder victim in his final moments lead to an amateur sleuth down a rabbit hole that will reveal a horrifying reality structured around 9 childlike drawings, each one holding a disturbing clue. This novel invites readers to piece together the harrowing truth behind each and the overarching backstory that connects them all. Strange Pictures is the best-selling international debut for mystery horror YouTube sensation Uketsu, an enigmatic masked figure who has become one of Japan's most talked about contemporary authors. I've heard. So Erin Megan here on YouTube, love her. She just did a vlog where she read this. She very much liked it. I usually like a good portion of things that she likes. She also is she's a much better critic than I am. I'll like something just because it made me feel alright. She really knows what she likes, and I fully appreciate that. That's why I take her advice on any books that I read. But she did say that it leans a bit more mystery than horror. Things that are happening in here are definitely horrific and everything, but because you're sitting here trying to figure out what's happening, it's leaning more mystery, which I am excited about. Now, I will say, this is translated, and unfortunately, I have not had much luck in the past with translated East Asian horror. I just haven't. And I say East Asian because it's not just like Japanese horror or just, you know, Chinese horror, Korean horror. I've just not had a lot of luck with the translation of the different culture shifts or whatever. I tried to read Bullet Train, and that's not a horror, but it didn't, I love the movie, didn't like what the book had to say. It felt very homophobic. And with that being said, when I tried to read Ring, the same thing happened. Hated Ring. It felt extremely transphobic, and the story itself I didn't connect to it. They changed the movie a lot for the American audience, and so that was interesting. While I liked Convenience Store Woman, I didn't love it as much as I was hoping I would. I tried to read The Memory Police, and that I tried like twice to read it, and finally I had to just give up on it because it just wasn't like I wasn't attaching myself to it. Whenever I'm reading something translated, I'm constantly going, please let this be good. Because for some reason, my brain is not connecting to these stories, and I don't know if it's their translations, because obviously something's happening. Obviously it's a me problem. It has to be a me problem because people love these stories. I'm hoping the same doesn't happen here and that I can really enjoy this book, especially because I'm very interested by it. Y'all know I love a great weird interior, and this one definitely has that because there's so many visual things in here. Like they talk about the weird pictures are definitely in here, and I really want to enjoy this. It's also not that long, so I'm hoping that it's not a waste of time. This next book I've not heard a ton of, and I picked it up because this was when I was first preparing for May, and I saw Jordaline Reed's video, and she had this, and it sounded really interesting and very sci-fi dystopian, and I've not read a sci-fi dystopian in a while. I say this fully knowing that I read Dungeon Crawler Carl this last month, and, well, at the time I didn't think I was going to really finish that book. Or it wasn't even in my mind about it. So I picked up Crimson Labyrinth by Yusuke Kishi. And what's crazy is that you probably can't, it's a great cover. Absolutely love it. Who's published this? It's just Vertical. It's by Vertical, which is, I don't think they're a part of the Big Five. So I'm really, really looking forward to reading this. It has to do with it's kind of like Dungeon Crawler Carl's more serious cousin, because this person is basically taken out of their normal day-to-day life and wakes up in a labyrinth with another person, which they have to go through in order to survive. From a rising new star of horror comes a killer read that will make you lose track of time and reality. The Crimson Labyrinth is a wicked satire and extremist reality TV in the tradition of The Running Man, if that is indeed what it is. Welcome to the Mars Labyrinth, where things aren't what they seem. Welcome to the world of Kishi, where the plot is as gnarly as the humor is twisted. When an unemployed former math major wakes up one day, he wonders if he somehow ended up on the Red Planet. The good-looking young woman with a hearing aid, she says her name is Ai, and that she draws erotic comics for a living, seems to have no clue either as to their whereabouts. Their only leads are cryptic instructions beamed to a portal device. Has the game begun? There is no reset button, no saving, and no continue. Make the wrong move, and it's really game over in the cruel world of the Mars Labyrinth. Mercy and compassion are only for the weak or the very, very strong. The stakes are nothing less than your life, and apparently a lot of money. If you're a fan of Lost or Battle Royale, don't miss this one. This is basically Dungeon Crawler Carl, but less less stupid, less, we're just, you know, this is just hilarious type of thing. I think it'll still have a lot of humor, but it'll be more, I think that, well, I don't know if this is translated. I'm going to be honest. Oh no, this is his American debut. So it's not. So I don't know what the humor aspect is gonna be in here, but it's most certainly, this is essentially the same as Dungeon Crawler Crawl, which had me very excited because I really did love that premise of these of reality television becoming very deadly. I love that idea because it feels, when you think about the fact that we watch people, that there's these shows where we're like, we're watching people. We're supposed to just be, they're just being their themselves, or they're having these experiences. It's weird. It's very strange. Um I think even in now, when we know that it's really scripted, it's kind of like, okay, well, this is just basically a TV show. But especially in the early days of things like Real World and all of that, there was a greatness to it, kind of seeing the slice of life of people being people. But at the same time, it felt very invasive. And I love the idea of aliens or something that just doesn't seem human, creating the situation where it's like, yeah, and your lives are on the line for our entertainment type of thing. It's sick, but it's also not far-fetched considering what we do currently. So I am very much looking forward to this one. This is probably one of my top ones I really do want to read this month. It was the first thing that was on this list, and I am really excited to get into it. The next one on this list is another dystopian, and I've had it for a while. I've had it since last year, so in all honesty, I probably need to get into it already because I've been taking my time with it, and that's Trinity by Erika Kobayashi. This, I've seen this cover everywhere, but I've not seen a lot of people talk about it. Not like actual, like, oh, did I like it or did I not? Like, I've just seen this cover. When I got a lot of free books back from my internship last year, this was on my list. I don't know why. I was just like, well, just throw it in the bag. It's free, so who cares? So, I ended up buying this book. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, and I'm looking forward to reading this. But again, still waiting on a lot of, really, this month is going to depend on how my audiobooks roll out. I know that I'm going to be busy in a lot of different ways, and I don't think Blob will probably end up, I'm going to get to that one. Blob will probably only be a physical read because I know that everyone is reading that book right now. So the idea that I'm even going to get that audiobook is probably none. We will see, though. This is also translated, so we will see how it connects. I think that's going to be my big hurdle that I really want to get over, because I want to prove, this year I want to prove that that's not true. That it can't be a culture thing or whatever it is, that I can read translated, like, and I'll understand it and really love it. So we'll see, but let's get into the synopsis. 9 years after the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant disaster, Japan is preparing for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. An unnamed narrator wakes up in a cold, sterile room, unable to recall her past. Across the country, the elderly begin to hear voices emanating from black stones, compelling them to behave in strange and unpredictable ways. The voices are symptoms of a disease called Trinity. As details about the disease come to light, we encounter a thread of linked histories: Prometheus stealing fire from the gods, the discovery of radiation, the nuclear arms race, the subsequent birth of nuclear energy, and the disaster in Fukushima. The thread linking these events begins to unravel in the lead up to a terrorist attack at the Japan National Olympic Stadium, a work of speculative fiction, reckoning with the consequences of the past and continued efforts of nuclear power. Trinity follows the lives of 3 generations of women as they grapple with the legacy of mankind's quest for light and power. I think this is interesting, very speculative, lit fic, very smart girl, thought daughter type of read, but I am interested in the idea of rediscovering oneself, not knowing where things are from, and also learning more about nuclear power and how we found these things, the fallout of these discoveries. What have they done, and especially in the context of this sickness that's apparently going around as they're preparing for the Olympics. So I do think it's really interesting. I do have a feeling that it'll be a slow read, though, so I'm preparing myself for that. This definitely feels like the slowest read out of all of them, and I know I already just said that Joy Luck Club was going to be slow, but that feels like it was going to be slow, like in the sense of, it's not, oh, I woke up and I'm in a labyrinth. But rather, mothers and daughters in their stories. This feels very like, take your time with it because you need to think. So I will say that we will see what ends up happening with this one. The Dead Take the A Train by Cassandra Khaw and Richard Cadre? Yes, Cadre. I mainly knew that Cassandra Khaw wrote this one. This one was everywhere at one point, and I actually have never read a Cassandra Khaw book. I know I've heard so many great, amazing things about their work, and I found this when I was thrifting, and I figured, oh, I need to pick that up. I recognize that. That looks great. Now, does it look a little thick? It definitely looks a little thick for me. I'm not gonna lie. Did the person read it? I couldn't tell you. They must have read the audiobook, or they just decided like, oh, this isn't gonna be for me. Maybe. I don't know, because these pages look pristine. Absolutely pristine. The only reason that I feel like anything is on the cover is because they used a matte soft touch ink, which nobody cares what that is. Kelsey. I've been filling out printer forms for too long. Let's probably hear about what this book is about, right? Yeah, okay, let's do that. Julie is a coked up, burnt out 30-year-old whose only retirement plan is dying early. She's been trying to establish herself in the New York City magic scene, and she'll work the most gruesome gigs, exorcise the nastiest demons, and make deals with the cruelest gods to claw her way to the top, but nothing can prepare her for the toughest job yet when her best friend Sarah shows up at her door in need of help. Keeping Sarah safe becomes top priority. Julie is desperate for a quick fix to break the dead-end grind and save her friend, but her power grab sets off a deadly chain of events that puts Sarah and the entire world directly in the path of annihilation. The first explosive adventure in the Korean City duology, The Dead Take the A Train, fuses Cassandra Khaw's cosmic horror and Richard Cadre's gritty fantasy into a full-throttled thrill ride straight into New York's magical underbelly. This sounds amazing. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like Constantine. It sounds a lot like Constantine, and I love Constantine. So this sounds so good. Oh my god, I'm so excited to read this. It sounds horribly gruesome and exciting. I am really glad that I thrifted this, and I really do hope that I feel like if something starts to slow down, I'll pick this up. I hope that this is a very fast-paced read. Cuz I would be very disappointed if this is slow, because it is over 300 pages. So I'm like, well, what are you guys putting in all of that? But I'm very excited based off of that. We're nearing the end. I swear we're nearing the end. Blob. Y'all knew I was going to read that this month. Y'all had to have known I was going to read it this month. Everyone else in the world has read Blob. I didn't get the pre-order. I just ordered it. I didn't get the pre-order, but it was because everyone in the world was reading it. I really did love the cover. I know, it's sickening. However, there is something that I have heard, that this isn't as weird as it should be, which is upsetting. I am sad to hear that it may not be as weird as it should be. And I'm going into it thinking, okay, realize that this isn't going to be about Bob the Blob and her truly falling in love with that blob, but the fact that Bob is probably just a blob. I've heard a lot about that, and a lot of people have been upset because it doesn't feel as insane as it should feel. So I'm saying that as I'm about to read the synopsis, but yeah, I know that I still want to read it. I still bought it. I still am also preparing myself to absolutely love this book, because I've learned that sometimes my opinions are at odds with the rest of the world, and I'm okay with that. The daughter of a Taiwanese father and white mother, Vi Lu has never quite fit into her Midwestern college town. Aimless after getting dumped by her boyfriend and dropping out of college, Vi works at the front desk of a hotel where she greets guests, refills cucumber water samovars, and tries to evade her bubbly blonde coworker Rachel. But in the alley outside the bar one night, Vi discovers a strange blob, a small living creature with beady black eyes. In a moment of concern and drunken desperation, she takes it home. The blob is no ordinary pet. Becoming increasingly sentient, it begins to grow, shift shape, and obey V's commands. As the entity continues to change, V is struck with a daring idea. I cannot read today, Jesus. Daring idea. She'll mold the creature into her ideal partner. She feeds it a stream of sweet breakfast cereals and American pop culture, and the creature grows into a movie star handsome white man. But when V's desire to be loved unconditionally threatens to spiral out of control, she is forced to confront her lonely childhood, her aloof ex-boyfriend, and the racial marginalization that she has defined her relationships. A journey of self-discovery that teaches her it's impossible to enjoy those you love. to control those you love. Blending the familiar with the surreal, Blob is a witty, heartfelt story about the search for love and self and what it means to be human. Oh my god, that was so hard for me to read. Why was that so hard for me to read? I'm excited to see where this goes. I love that it is a Taiwanese author, or a Taiwanese main character. I don't think that any of my other reads are Taiwanese. And again, to my point earlier in the video, I do want to May, again, is taking on a very big diaspora. And I want to try and fit as many voices as possible into that diaspora of my, like, diverse reading. And so I don't think that I have any other Taiwanese authors on my list at all. So I'm still excited to read this. I know I'm, like, really keeping really positive about it because I don't want to hate it. I want to be that person that goes, Blob really changed my life. Like, I just don't think people are really thinking about what it really is trying to say. Oh, yeah. Also, this book is really great. Like, the choices on this is just as glossy as possible, and like, I know y'all don't care. Y'all don't care. Just know that I absolutely love the ink work they did on this. Last book. It's, how many books is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. There's no way I'm getting to 8 books. If I get through 8 books in this upcoming May, that's it. I'm not trying anymore. I'm not. Oh my gosh! But here we are. Final book of the month. This was on pre-order. I've not really heard anybody talking about it much, and I'm really excited to read it. I mean, not because nobody's talking about it, but, you know, it seemed really interesting to me, and I got it on pre-order. Sacrificial Animals by Kaylee Peterson. I think the reason why maybe a lot of people aren't gravitating to it is because I feel like the synopsis for it is a little hard to grasp. And again, this feels like a thought daughter book. Like, it's going to be very, like, we're not just doing horror just to be doing horror. It's something that you've got to think about what's happening here. Because I also think that it has to do with some... why do I have a feeling... Let me read the synopsis before I say what I think, what it has to do with. In this rich and atmospheric supernatural horror novel comes a groundbreaking new voice to offer a vision into a dark and vengeful mythology rooted in Chinese folklore. The last thing Nick Morrow expected to receive was an invitation from his father to return home. When he left rural Nebraska behind, he believed he was leaving everything, including his abusive father, Carlisle, and the farm that loomed so large in memory there forever. But neither Nick nor his brother Joshua, disowned for marrying Amelia, a woman of Asian descent, can ignore such a summons from their father, who hopes for a deathbed reconciliation. Predictably, Joshua and Carlisle quickly warm to each other while Nick and Amelia are left to their own devices. Nick puts the time to good use, and his flirtation with Amelia blooms into romance. Though not long after the affair turns intimate, Nick begins to suspect that Amelia's interest in him may have sinister and possibly even ancient motivations, punctuated by punctuated by scenes from Nick's adolescent years when memories of a queer awakening and shadowy presence stalking the farm altered the trajectory of his life forever. Sacrificial Animals explores the violent legacy of inherited trauma and the total collapse of a family in its wake, which I love. It's family horror, so we're already loving it. Is this the Nine Tails? They don't say... They do. They say Chinese folklore. Is the Nine Tails fox Chinese or Korean? Oh, that's gonna upset me if I need to find that out. I need to find that out. Because of the fox on the front of it, that's why I'm asking that question. And because, you know, her being a woman and all of that, they say Asian descent, but they don't say that she's Chinese. Which I'm also, like, interested in why they didn't maybe specify. Except for in the, like, headline. Okay, so there's some affairs happening here, there's some queerness happening in here, and there's some family trauma happening in here. All things considered, I should love this book. That's why I picked up the book. I've not heard anybody talking about this book. Maybe it's because we're going into May and everybody's saving it for May. That's a possibility. I may see this popping up everywhere. In that case, forget what I just said. That is the list of every book I'm trying to read in this upcoming May. I know it's a lot. I combined 2 words there. I'm absolutely and I'm actually very scared that I put 8 books on this. I don't know why I put 8 books on my TBR, because that's just going to give me anxiety. But we're already here. It's too late. I am trying my best to see. Let's see about, like, what. Let's see here. This has to do with Chinese folklore. We got some Taiwanese background and culture conversations. Cassandra Call is Malaysian. Pretty positive Julie isn't, though. And I mean, we'll see. We'll see. It doesn't make any mention of it, but nonetheless, trying to diversify my authors as much as possible. Let's see here. Erika Kobayashi, I think, is Japanese. And this takes place in Tokyo. So there's that. This is Yusuke Kishi Saka. But I'm pretty positive we're at least getting, again, another Japanese perspective of writing. Suki Uketsu. Oh, I think it's another Japanese writer. See what I mean? Yes, I believe that this is translated from Japanese. So that's 3 in a row already. Joy Luck Club is Chinese. So there's that. Where do we have that? Chinese. Oh my god. And then Mouth is... Oh, what is it? The author is... I'm pretty positive they're from Kolkata. So yeah, this is Southeast Asian Indian perspective. I wish there was probably more. I had three Japanese novels, or 3 Japanese authors rather, in a row. That's maybe good to know. Because if one of them has to get cut, which it may be Trinity, I'll feel a little bit better about it and maybe pushing the Trinity novel to another month down the line when I have like a free month again. Just because I do wish that I had some other like backgrounds that were better diverse. I mean, it's pretty diverse for the most part. Again, I think that my biggest struggle every May is that it's very different from any other Heritage Month in the sense that, like, during Black History Month, we're basically reading Black authors. I mean, that one's pretty straightforward. And I think I find some of that in June as well, because there's so many different queer identities that I'm always sitting there going, okay, well, I really want to make sure I'm not just reading from by the same identity every single book that I'm reading that month. Latino Hispanic Heritage Month doesn't necessarily feel as hard because, again, while there is a lot of backgrounds, it doesn't feel like a lot get left behind more times than not. But I mean, I guess so. And, you know, finding Indigenous horror has become more and more accessible, luckily, over the years. But yeah, I always find that during May, I'm always trying to squeeze so much because I'm just like, I want to try and get as many as identities and backgrounds as possible into this month that's already squeezed up with too much. So that is my TBR for the month of May, though. I am really excited. All of these sound extremely dynamic. I think that's the best word to use, is the word dynamic, for every single one of these. And they also really are not just horror, which I've been finding has been really helpful for me. I was reading nothing but horror, and y'all, don't get me wrong, I love horror, I love speculative fiction. I'm gonna read it all day, every day. But I did find that I was kind of burning myself out and just hearing the same tone of writing for a very long time. I love the weird stuff, still give me the weird stuff all day, every day. But I've realized that if I kind of switch up the genre a bit in between books, I have a fresher kind of reaction approaching a new novel and everything. And I think that really happened. I kind of really figured that out this last April by going through everything and reading Dungeon Crawler Carl and then reading Sky Full of Elephants and just kind of going, oh, that was something new, instead of reading back-to-back horror or back-to-back weird lit, and kind of feeling like, okay, didn't I just hear something like this? So I am very excited going into this month to be reading such a diverse collection of books and different backgrounds and plot lines. As you can tell, I'm very excited basically for everything that I just read off. So it's going to be really hard because this is a big stack for me, especially considering that I've not read as much as I was hoping this last month. And I don't know, maybe my excitement is going to get the better of me, but when has it not? Regardless, maybe this has just been a good recommendation video for you to build your TBR. I hope that y'all enjoyed today's video. I hope to see y'all in the next one. I thank you so much for watching today's me yap and everything. If you liked today's video, I almost forgot. If you like today's video, subscribe down below. I'll be talking about these later on next month, and I'll be doing my April wrap-up soon enough. As you've been seeing, some Halloween has started creeping in, and I really want to get into some other book recs this upcoming month, so follow down below if you're excited about any of that, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!